Hi everyone, it's Nicole and I'm here to work on another Organize with Me. This year in 2024, the first step I did was actually cleaned out my room. And then now I'm doing the hot spots. So I started, I did one of my Rascogs, a couple of my Rascogs actually, my digital files, different spots that I look through my room and I'm like, oh, I can't stand that anymore. And this Rascog here is actually the Rascog that is underneath my desk, like where I work. And that's where I keep a lot of, like, my staplers are in there, my score tape, my foam tape. But there was a whole lot more than that. And I wanted to simplify it. I have these Antonio containers from IKEA. It's on my desk right now, and I like to have those to kind of organize things. But as I'm going through this, I'm like, these 18 pencils don't all have to be in my Rascog. So I'm going to take a few of them out and I'm going to put them in the container. There's a couple things, like they're still in the package. They're not even used up yet. So there is those markers that you can see. I think they're Davenport's markers, and not even open out of the package. I'm opening them up right now. I'm even testing them. Do they still work? Yep, they do. So, I mean, how sad is that? I've probably had that for, 5 or 6 years and not used up. Same with those tiny little pencils that I'm taking out right now. I'm going to put 6 in my cart because I'm always looking for pencils. So I'm going to put six of them in there. And then the rest I'm going to put, in another storage area. And then when I run out, then I can, replace them. I'm going to take a spot where I'm going to put all my score tape and my ATG tape. This is a container that I made myself, and it has 3 slots, if you will, or 3 containers. And I'm going to put a few things in there, and that's going to go on my second shelf. And then on the bottom shelf, I'm going to put things like mats and a few little things like that, but you're going to see the difference. Like I showed you the Rascog at the beginning. It was super messy, and then look at that now. Everything is organized. Everything has a little spot. My staplers have a whole section. My glues have a whole section. Here I have a few scissors that I put in there. And then I have my foam tape at the bottom. And that's something that I use all the time. So I'm just going to bring it up to the second one. And that's an extra ATG gun that I have. It doesn't work very well, but I figure I'm going to keep it in case I break the other one. And, I don't have the money to buy a new one because they're kind of expensive. Now, the next thing we're going to work on is the shelf that is by my sink. Now, a lot of this is photo related. So I have a lot of photo boxes that are in that IKEA shelf, but I have a lot of boxes too that are still in the boxes that I got from, the place I got them developed. And as you saw, I showed you the shelf. It just looked messy. Now, what I end up doing is I end up stacking up a little bit more, things one on top of the other. So it gives me a little bit more room. And then instead of having my albums at the top, I'm going to be able to have my albums next to the photo boxes. And then the next thing I'm going to do is, because I'm going to be placing those photo boxes one on top of the other, before what I did was I put the date and everything, because a lot of those boxes are from our trip in 2022. And, I have it numbered from day 1 to day 44, but it's on top of the box. So that's not going to help me if I'm looking for day 12. then I have to take all the boxes off. So what I ended up doing is now I'm putting it on the front of the box, and then that way when they're going to sit on my shelf, I'm going to be able to see them. Now, what I'm hoping is I'd like to keep the white, photo boxes and not all different colors. So I might buy, a couple photo boxes here and there. I kind of did the mental math, and I could probably put another 10 boxes on top, like if I, disassemble those, where those are, I could probably put 10 of those white boxes. So eventually, that's probably what I'm going to do instead of keeping those boxes. But for now, it was a nice solution to just, kind of take everything that was off of there, put the boxes, put the dates on the front of the box so I know that it's my 2022 trip. And then there's boxes of, pictures of Lexi. I think I have 4 boxes of her first year. So I put Lexi 2023. So then if I'm making pages about Lexi, I know exactly which box to get. Oh, a little side note, that's the shelf that I said that I put on top of my sink, and I put lights underneath, and I put the numbers 911 on top. And then right beside it, that rose is actually a rose from my dad's funeral. He passed away in 2006, and I still have that rose. So it's almost 20 years old, but I want to keep it. So there we go. I showed you how it looked at the beginning. It was so messy. And now it's it's packed, but at least it looks nice. Another piece or an area of my scrap room that was really bothering me is where I keep all my collections. And there was no rhyme or reason to it anymore. Like when I first did this 7 years ago or almost 8 years ago, they were all by company. Bo Bunny was with Bo Bunny, and Echo Park was with Echo Park, and so on and so forth. Well, over the years, they're all messed up. So I decided to take everything out, and that didn't take me as long as I thought. 10 minutes is how long it took me to take everything out. 30 minutes is what it took me to go through each collection, separate them by company, and then sometimes I find loose leaf, like sheets of pattern paper from different collections and stuff. So I'm putting them behind me because at some point I'm going to, again, go through them, put all the companies together, and then they're going to have a special place on my shelf. So if I'm like, oh yeah, I have a lot of Bello Boulevard that is loose, I can go and just get that little stash and go through it. I have another spot, which it'll probably be maybe the next time. I have a wire container that I have a lot of loose pattern paper. It's actually right next to my desk, the one where I have my Copics that I cleaned out a few weeks ago. And I have a wire basket right next to that, and it looks messy. So I can't wait to tackle that so that it looks good. So this is how I'm choosing what I'm doing next. I get up, like tomorrow, I'm going to go upstairs in my craft room. I'm going to look around and say, pick 2 or 3 areas that you're going to clean this week, and that's what I clean. I have to say, this time around, I could have picked 2 areas because it did take me, the first thing, the Rascock took me about a half an hour, but then the thing with the pictures and everything, that took me about 45 minutes, and then this part here took me about 45 minutes to an hour. So I spent almost 2 hours this week, kind of rearranging everything. The only good thing is because it's little nuggets of things, I don't have to do it all at once. So the paper and the photos I did the same day, but then the Raskog I had done on a different day. Now this week I'll probably choose that wire basket, and I have one more Raskog that is a complete mess, and I definitely want to tackle that because it's an eyesore. When I come up the stairs and I look at it, I'm like, oh, this has to be soon. So this is where, okay, now these are all divided by companies, but I want to take it one step further. So I'm making a pile that's like the travel stuff, and then I'm making another pile that's, kind of like, if you will, like family stuff. And then I'm making another pile, let's say if there's Halloween stuff or Christmas stuff or polka dots. And then I just put it one on top of the other, but at least the themes are a little bit more together, and I think I'm going to like that a lot. Now, I can tell you that the companies that I had the most of was definitely Echo Park. This is what I'm doing right now, is Echo Park and Simple Stories. Those were probably the two, like the most that I had was those two companies. I had a few October Afternoon, quite a few of Bo Bunny, but definitely Echo Park and Simple Stories are two of my biggest thing. Now, Crate Paper and Cartabella together was a pretty big pile. But another thing it did was I got to physically touch every single collection that I own. So I was like, oh, I totally forgot about this, So it was good that I did this, because then I'm like, hey, when I make page kits, this is what I'm going to do. Now, or, I'm going to go through this and pick a few from there. One thing that I have left to do, and I haven't done it yet, is I want to take a label machine and I want to put, like above the slot, I want to put which company is in there. And then that way, when I go look for something, it's going to be easy to go to it. And then when I go put it away, then I know exactly where it needs to go. A couple of things that I did off camera was like putting that shelf that, has 911 on it, but it also has two lights, so that helps with the sink area with lighting. And then we put more of those bars where you hang the punches. I think we added 5 more of those. So I've, displayed my punches, so now I can see them all. I still probably have to get 5 or 7 more, but that's going to come in March, and I'm not too worried about that. I used to have the wire from all my lights and everything. It used to go like behind the desk, so I would have to go around it so that I didn't trip over it or whatever. So we put that up against the wall and up on the ceiling, so that area is all nice and organized now, so I can go all the way around my desk without having to worry about wires. I've added a clock, because every time I was in my room, I never knew what time it was until I stopped recording and I could look at my phone. Now I have a clock, so I can, look at that. And like things are just coming along. It just felt like, because it was kind of a clean area, now I was like, oh, can we do this? Can we put that up? Can we fix this? So that, my room is getting better and better. Okay, so now that I have all the companies separated by companies, and then even separated even more, I have it by theme. Now I'm adding the collections in those containers, in those slots, in alphabetical order. So we got, Bo Bunny first, and so on and so forth. So then I But the next thing I want to do is literally label where everything is. But that's it. That's going to do it for this week. And if you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit subscribe if you're enjoying these videos. If you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below. And I want to thank you so much for watching. Bye.